Let's discuss the intriguing phenomena of ionospheric storms, which are birthed from variations in energy, charged electron densities in the ionosphere sourced from the Sun. The creation of these storms is attributed to geomagnetic storms and can be classified as either positive or negative. Based on the density of charged particles present, these densities are measured using the total electron content, TC, a significant marker in data recording and storm intensity. Comparison. Ionospheric storm manifestations are closely tied to sudden elevations in solar wind speed, which injects energized electrons into Earth's upper atmosphere, thereby augmenting the tech. Larger storms allow for the global sighting of the stunning auroras. Most typically seen within the Arctic Circle, however, significant ionospheric storms can make them discernible at lower latitudes. Recorded history marks the most intense instance of an ionospheric storm in 1859, dubbed as the Solar Storm of 1859 or the Carrington Event, attributed to Richard Carrington, an English astronomer who reported the exceptional solar activity at the time. This event made the incarnation of the aurora visible as far down as Florida and the Caribbean due to its unmatched intensity. Noted as whimsical phenomena, ionospheric storms could take place at any time or locale, with F region and D region storms being primary classifications. F region storms happen due to sharp surges in energized electrons introduced into the Earth's ionosphere, the highest region there, situated approximately 200–500 km above the surface. These surprising storms usually last a day and tend to re-emerge roughly every 273 days. Most ionospheric abnormalities materialize in the F2 and E layers. D region storms commonly follow and persist a week after the F region storm, known as the post-storm effect. The Carrington Event from August 28, 1859 produced the most colossal ionospheric storm, leading to widespread damages like initiating fires in railway signals and telegraph wires caused due to the exorbitant density of energy bearing electrons developed by the storm. Data consolidation over the past 35 years reveals average daily geomagnetic activity during ionospheric storms have been measured using a maximum AP count. Higher levels of geomagnetic activity correlate with maximum AP counts. Based on the AP counts, geomagnetic activity is categorized as quiet, 0.7, unsettled, 8.15, active, 16.29, minor storm, 30.49, minor storm, 30.99, and severe storm, 50.99, and severe storm, over 100. Ionospheric storms, with their precise location and timing hard to pin down, are influenced by seasonality. Their starting point, ionospheric composition alterations, as well as the impact of differing gravity waves on the traveling ionospheric disturbances, tides. When such a storm commences, due to geomagnetic unrest in the ionosphere, it initially exhibits a positive phase where the electron density increases notably, primarily in the higher altitude layers like FON and F2. The increased electron density somewhat obscures the ionization, which is less evident during this span. These positive phase ionospheric storms tend to last for about a day and are predominantly witnessed during winter. Intriguingly, large ionospheric storms during the positive phase hike the altitude of the ionospheric F region, leading to a huge plasma anomaly shaped like a tongue expanding in the direction opposite to the Sun. Over the geomagnetic pole, this anomaly is noticeable through ground radars, satellite, and the GPS system. Subsequent to the positive phase, the storm enters a negative episode, where there's a decline in its electron density to a level below its normal state. This phase is generally longer, lasting and more frequently occurs in summer. Following this, the storm goes through a recovery stage, where the electron density normalizes to determine the time it takes for the electron density to restabilize post-storm. A time scale of 12 hours to a day can be adopted. The magnitude of the storm dictates the effect on different ionospheric layers, namely the F, E, and D regions. The F region, having the highest altitude, suffers the most due to its position compared to other regions. Conversely, the D region, with the lowest altitude, experiences the least impact. In the F region, which is approximately 200 km above the Earth's surface and has a total layer altitude of about 300 km, key aspects affected include the decrease of critical frequency and maximum usable frequency, crucial for high-frequency radio communication. Here, the friction of solar wind on ionospheric boundaries results in magnetospheric movement that can disturb and alter total electron content, TESE. and electron density, leading to irregular increases and decreases, particularly in the F2 layer. Furthermore, the F region also experiences alterations in ionization density that decrease with the increase in height, causing lower altitudes to shed electron density. A story is centered around the E region and D region, layers located in the ionosphere above the Earth's surface. The E region exists around 100 km above the Earth, spanning a similar range upwards. The main intrigues happen at high altitudes due to geomagnetic disruptions. The prevailing ionization in this region springs from particle precipitation and auroras. Its geographical position allows for heightened ionization density and decreased electron density in comparison to the F region. When charged particles pour from the magnetospheric convection electric fields along the magnetic lines into the E region, it drives conduction of currents and a consequent surge in electrical conductivity. This boost can also result from ionospheric storms. Moreover, the transfer of energy from plasma to neutral particles reaches an apex here, contributing to so-called frictional heating, which is utilized as a heat source for the thermosphere. The D region is found approximately 60 km above the Earth's surface, and an altitude ribbon around 30-40 km defines this layer. After hitting the critical 9100 km mark above the Earth's surface, the top of the region is reached. This is where ionospheric storms cast their shadows, leading to enhanced ionization of electrons and a decline in day-night asymmetry. Delp depth. Neph depth measures the difference between ionospheric activity during day and night. However, the D layer delp depth shrinks when AP index increases. Ionospheric storms also play the role of the villain, causing severe disruptions to telecommunications. Radio communications become practically useless at middle to high altitudes due to interference caused by a sudden outpour of solar wind and supercharged electrons in the ionosphere. These disturbances result in temporary signal blackouts affecting multiple radio wave-based technologies. Furthermore, they can impede digital broadcasting and data display through radio communication technology. The subplot features flight passengers and crew who are exposed to higher radiation doses during an ionospheric storm compared to individuals at sea level. A 10 km flight altitude or above during a storm increases radiation exposure levels to around 300 times than at sea level. This may lead to a risk of developing life-threatening cancer. Furthermore, the energized particles produced during the storm can damage or disrupt microelectronic circuitry, leading to system failure and potential safety hazards. Lastly, the narrative concludes with the potential impact on solar cells and satellites, which can be damaged or even destroyed by ionospheric storms, ultimately hindering signal transmission. Ionospheric storms have a major impact on GPS systems due to signal disturbances within the ionosphere. Throughout the late 20th and 21st centuries, the usage of GPS signals in various devices, including phones, has surged, making it a crucial technological tool. Its main purpose of providing direction can, unfortunately, be extremely hampered by these storms. Furthermore, global navigation satellite services (GNSS) used in aircraft navigation are susceptible to radiation damage on satellites and solar cells, vital components for the functionality of this system. Despite these challenges, backup procedures are available to ensure safety during ionospheric storms. Understanding the full extent of the impacts of these storms, such as the Carrington event in 1859, has traditionally been a challenge due to limited available measuring technologies at the time. However, comprehensive account of impacts were documented within 1859 newspaper articles. Fortunately, advancements in predicting atmospheric disturbances have significantly improved in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Meteorologists are now able to accurately detect the highest frequency that can be vertically returned 24 hours in advance, with an accuracy of 813 during periods of minimal disturbance. This is made possible through programs like Propman, developed by K. Davies in the early 1970s, which uses the Ionospheric Prediction Code, IonStorm. This tool forecasts the maximum usable frequencies, MUFs, during ionospheric storms when the F region communication frequencies become ineffective.